Hello, my name is Price Van Ray. I'm a divorced single dad, father of 5 kids. Welcome to my show. Hello and welcome back again, family and friends. Oh, it's been a week. I mean, busy, running around, sure, like anybody else who's a parent. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys know. If you're watching me on video, then you can see that I shaved my beard. It was two-toned before, but I ended up shaving it because allergy season, and it gets sort of messy wiping the nose. And if you're also watching me on video, you can see right in the corner my white cat is over there chilling out by the TV set. So that being said, I'm going to tell you what we're going to be talking about today. Today I'm going to say you have to teach your child good thoughts. You got to fill their heads up with good thoughts. You just have to. You don't want your kids growing up to be negative and thinking horrible things. Right now, this world's sort of, it's in trouble there. You know, people are thinking some horrible things, saying some horrible things, doing some horrible things. It's horrible. That being said, I just want to say a few words now. To be or not to be is not the only question. That's right. I think somebody probably said to be or not to be. That is the question. But to be or not to be is not the only question. We can be more. And we should question everything, because when you don't question things, you don't grow. It's like watering a plant. If you don't water a plant, it won't grow. You have to question everything. Just don't take everything at face value. Do your homework. Question it. Question everything. That's all I have to say about that. So we're going to head on to the topic of our show, which is teach your child good thoughts. That's right. You know, it's right now, it's very troublesome in the world. We are in the middle of wartime. Israel and Palestine are at war. I don't know if anybody knows what happened, but there was a rave in Israel, a bunch of kids, and some terrorists came in and started shooting everybody and taking everybody hostage. They did some horrible things. And you can see it if you watch the news. If you know what's going on, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because I don't want to get into great details. But I say we have to teach our children from when they're young good things, good thoughts, so we can avoid stuff like this. We don't want to teach our kids hate. You know, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to tell your child you should hate this group of people or you should hate that group of people? I always thought it would be great if we lived in a world of peace, of love, of harmony, tranquility. That's the kind of world I think everybody wants. We want to go to bed at night thinking, tomorrow's going to be a great day and I can wake up in peace. No matter what a person does, whether it's friendships, marriage, any kind of a relationship, you want peace and calm. You don't want to be triggered. You don't want the hatred. You don't want emotional baggage, negativity. What good does that do to a person? It really doesn't help anybody in any way. Something that negative, it's horrible. You don't want to fill your heart with hate, and you don't want to fill your child's heart with hate. What kind of a person does that? Right now, during this wartime, there's a lot of college campuses, and there's a lot of groups in different cities. I mean, this is going all over the world. People are saying anti-Semitic remarks, and if you don't know what anti-Semitic is, and there are people who don't know what anti-Semitic means, it's a hatred towards Jewish people. And they're saying these horrible remarks. I'm going to get into it more. If nobody knows what anti-Semitic means, and I'm going to be honest with you, there are people out there, especially in my community, the black community, in the ghettos, where people don't talk about stuff like that. You should really do some reading on the Holocaust, the Nazis in Germany, everything like that. So you're up to date on what can happen when one group of people are allowed to run rabid and almost take over the world with such hatred and brutality. Never again would a civilized society ever want something like that to happen again. That was a horrible time. And to be honest with you, I have always said, I don't know if I have a lot of faith in humanity or the human race because it seems like history always repeats itself. And I don't know why. You would think that knowing history, knowing what could happen, you don't want it to happen again. But let's face it, we're always in war. We are, seems like every so many years there's a war throughout the world, throughout everywhere, there's some kind of a war. And you would think people would learn from other people's mistakes. Hey, you don't want to go to war because this could happen. Hey, you don't want to go to war because that can happen. Why would we want something so devastating to happen to us, to our families, to our loved ones? We should do everything we can to avoid this war or any kind of a war. We should spread the world with love and peace and harmony. I mean, is it that hard? Is it really that hard? It's not hard for a person to breathe. You do it automatically. And wanting peace, wanting survival, wanting calm should come as easy as blinking. You would think it would come as easy as breathing. It would come as easy as speaking, hearing, anything. It would just come easy. And why in the world it doesn't, I don't have the words for it. But like I was saying, with this war thing going on with the Palestinians and the Jewish people and the things that's happening over in Israel, what was disheartening is the things that are happening on college campuses. Now, I'm going to pick Harvard. I'm going to pick on Harvard. Not really picking on them, but that's a fact. This is what's going on. There are 30, I forget what they're called, like after-school programs. There are 30 little programs they have for students. And I guess, just to play a safe number, let's say over 20 of them rallied in support of Palestine and the atrocities that they did. They said what they did was justifiable. It's not. You know, at that time it was not. You don't do the horrors that they did. They were burning people, burning their houses, killing people. I mean, assaulting people. I'm not going to get into detail, like I said. I don't want this to be that kind of a show. And I'm trying to keep people a little bit informed, say what I'm thinking, what some other people are thinking, but it was horrible. And you would think, especially in Harvard, being a college, a facility where you're supposed to be really educated and knowledgeable, you wouldn't be so anti-Semitic like this, saying horrible things about Jewish people, saying horrible things about anybody. Let's face it, yeah, we have freedom of speech in the United States, but does that give you the right to have freedom of hate? I think there's a difference. I mean, you can't go on an airplane and scream fire. You just can't do it. You know, no, that's not freedom of speech. That's freedom of craziness. And just like you can't say anti-Semitic remarks. Now I'm gonna tell you something right now. So I'm black, and like I said, you shouldn't say anti-Semitic remarks. I mean, some could say, well, what about the N-word? I hear this in every part of the black culture. And should that be acceptable? I mean, the N-word. I'm not going to say the N-word. You know what the N-word is? It was a word derived from hatred to dehumanize a group of people, to let them know they were lower than dogs, to let them know we don't have to respect you because you are a N-word. You are nothing in this world but a slave, but a dirty little slave. And now we use that word in the black community. It's used chalantly. And should it be? Well, I guess in the black community, it's split. Some people want to talk about it. Some people say, hey, it's our word. We can embrace it. We can do whatever we want. But no, are you fueling the fire? Are you keeping that fire going? Is that flame ever going to be put out? Doesn't matter how you use it. It's being used. And it's not a very good word. But they say, well, we put a ah on the end of it, not a hard ER. And I'm like, dude, it's still You can, well, what do they say? You can put lipstick on a pig and it's still a pig. But you would think that words like these, just words, anti Semitic remarks, the N word, there's a whole bunch of words. I mean, getting back to the N word, man, that it was used in slavery time. And in the 60s, it was used when they were water hosing the blacks and sicking dogs on them. The cops were sicking dogs on the blacks when they were protesting. I mean, there was a time in the United States where we could not even vote. We didn't have a voice. We couldn't go to hospitals. You know, certain hospitals. My dad, he's from Mississippi. My dad's mixed, and he was telling me how his grandfather was white. I think that was on his mother's side, and there's a really sad story there. You know, about the times during the N-word during 1926s. You know, my dad was born in 1926, so he was a son of a sharecropper. And his mother, I guess on Christmas Eve, had a stroke, but they had to take her to the black hospital. She was married to a black guy, and she died on his lap. He said, "This is unbelievable. What's going on in the world?" And we have to remember, we are better. We should be better. We should we should wake up every day and say, we are better than this. We are better than the hatred, the anti-Semitic remarks, the racist slurs, this and that. We're not going to use them. Wouldn't it be great if we just woke up one day and nobody used any of those words? None of them. You know, but I don't know. Is it going to be possible? Is it going to be possible? So back to Harvard, I guess a lot of these groups ended up signing something. They signed that they were in the group and they support Hamas, the terrorist group. And I guess from what I understand, a lot of the corporations and billionaires and people who like hire people from Harvard, they said, listen, we want the people's names of the groups, of the kids' names who are in these groups, because we want to make sure we don't hire them, because we don't want to be hiring people with this kind of thinking. Now the kids are all upset. They're like, hey, that's not right. They want to take their names off. It's a big mess. But today I'm listening to the radio, and they're saying they're going to have another rally in support of Palestine and in support of the Hamas terrorists. And just to put this into perspective, Israel's not taking this lying down, so they are retaliating, and they're pissed from what happened. So, anyways, Harvard's having this some more rallies, and they're going to have them all over the United States, not just Harvard. But they're sending out memos saying, if you go, make sure you wear a mask so they can't identify you. Now, so they can't identify you? What does that sound like to you? To me, it sounds like back in the slavery time when they were lynching up all the Negroes. They said, hey, make sure you wear your white hoods because we don't want nobody to identify us. So what, is this the next new KKK kind of thing going on or something? You know, back then they called it the KKK, but you can't hide behind a hoodie. You can't hide behind a mask. If you're gonna say something and you believe it, something, whatever, how distorted it is, be brave enough and stand up. If supposedly if you believe it, don't be a coward and hide behind a mask or a hood. Seriously. Never seen nothing like this. I just don't understand how we got to this point in society. It's been debatable how the United States was founded. You know, it belonged to the Indians before, who were then called Native Indians, now they're called indigenous people. The name sort of changes like black people. Blacks were called what? Negroes. Then it went to Afro-American and African-American and black. So we as a black person, we have so many names I can't keep up with them. But anyways, America was founded. I don't even know how to say this. When a country is founded, it could be founded in many ways, but it would be the hope. I personally would hope that it would be founded on peace. And that's what we're trying to make today. Peace. I would think we want to live in peace and harmony. I would think this is a place in America where Africans, everybody from all over, if you're from Africa, if you're from China, if you're from Japan, if you're from the Middle East, if you're from Australia, if you're from Canada, Mexico, I would think anybody who would want to live in a place that's free from oppression, free from hatred, that this would be the place you could find sanctuary. America, United States of America, it's called United for a reason, because we're united in one common goal: peace and calm, respect for everything, for different ethnicities, for races, for sexual orientation. We are tolerant. We say, hey, we're going to respect everybody. We're not going to be like other places. We're not going to reject you. We're going to embrace you. That's what America is. That's what I thought. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Nobody sat down and said, hey, Price, this is what America is. What I'm saying is what I've seen, what I felt, what I hope, what I dreamed from listening to other people say, I feel safe here. The thing about Israel is they're tolerant too. They're tolerant with religions. They're in harmony. They try to be in harmony. And I just heard today they're tolerant of sexual orientation. It's a safe haven where you can go and say, hey, I'm safe here. I don't have to worry about being persecuted. Now, I think in some other countries in the Middle East, if you are open about your sexual orientation and it differs from what everybody else is, I don't think it's safe for you. I don't think it's safe. I do not think it's safe. But America, we want this place to be a place of peace where people can come and not be persecuted. Who wants to be persecuted their whole life? Who wants something like that? That's insane. Nobody wants that. Nobody. When it comes to kids, you have to remember, you are the gardener. Think about it. Think about a gardener, a farmer. They have a seed, and they plant the seed. They water the seed. They make sure the seed is loved. It gets plenty of light. And the seed, they watch it grow. And it's growing healthy. They give it plenty of oxygen. They clean it, the leaves, they nurture it. They watch their garden get bigger and bigger with more beautiful plants. And they're like, this is amazing. The plants are amazing. When you have a green thumb like that, when you're a green thumb parent, remember, you can look at your kids and say, I raised these kids. I filled their heads up with love, with kindness. And that's what we want to do. Fill our children's heads up with something that's good. Kindness, love, tolerance. You don't want to be around your child and say how much you hate this person or that person, how much you hate this group of people, how much you wish this group of people was blankety blank, and that's insane. Why would you want to infect a child's brain and affect them for the rest of their life. Fill their heads with good thoughts. Teach your child good thoughts. That's what we're talking about today. Because they are children. They're our gardens. And we want them to grow up healthy, with a healthy mind, a healthy soul, a healthy heart. You know why? Because that's beautiful. That's why. That is beautiful. And now, it's story time. Two friends who are lawyers go to a restaurant and order cold drinks. After ordering cold drinks, both take out sandwiches from their bags and start eating them. Looking at them eat, the waiter comes to their table and tells them, "That's not allowed. You can't eat your own sandwiches in this restaurant." Both friends look at each other. They smile and exchange their sandwiches. That's a funny story. It figures it would take two lawyers to come up with something like that. I'll bet. I will bet if they took that to court, they'd win. Because they said we're not eating our own sandwiches. So everybody, that will do it. I want to thank you all for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and you can download any of my past podcasts morning, noon, and night and hear it all over the world and the internet. That's right. It'd be great if you could hear what I have to say. So that's going to bring us to the end of my show. I want to thank you all for listening. It's been great. And don't forget to be nice and talk nice to everyone you see. It's free. That's right. It's free. Fill your head up with good and other people's heads up. And it might, you'd be surprised how infectious it is. In fact, smile. If you smile at somebody, that's infectious. That's right. So anyways, that being said, remember this one last bit of advice. Tomorrow is never promised, so don't go to bed angry at your child or anyone you love. And before you go to bed tonight, hold and hug your child and tell them, "I will love you forever, Dad." Hey, everybody, thanks for joining me here today. Let's do it again. I'll see you next time here on my show. Be well, be kind, be back, peace, and my family and friends, I will definitely see you all later. Bye.